Hello Scorpio and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Scorpio, let's jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So let's first jump into this recent past energy. Let's see what you guys have been dealing with. You and your loved ones are safe and you're very close to achieving your goal. So there is a lot of anxiety and uncertainty in this energy, specifically around like, am I going to be okay? Am I going to have what I need? Am I going to get to where I'm trying to go? And with this, you're very close to achieving your goal. I feel like Spirit is saying like, yes, you're almost there, but you do have to keep going. I don't know what this is in regard to. I feel like we'll uncover a little bit more of what this is talking about as we move through this reading. But I do know that the closer we get to reaching some goal or closing a cycle or stepping into a new beginning, the more intense things feel, the more that things feel overwhelming, the more that fear appears, the more we doubt ourselves, the more we doubt our path. And so I feel like you've kind of been in this energy of like really doubting the direction that you're heading and what, you have ahead of you. And that's totally normal. It's part of the process. And I think that you're also needing to know that that fear that you're facing and the self-doubt that you're experiencing, all of those things are what has held you back for so long. And I think that this energy is about you not allowing them to determine things for you, not allowing them to hold you back anymore, essentially. So it is a very powerful energy, even if you don't feel powerful, right? Even if the anxiety is there, the stress is there. That's not what your power is. Your power isn't about feeling good all the time. Faith isn't about feeling good all the time. But it is about continuing to put one foot in front of the other on the journey. And I think that is what you've been doing. And I do feel like that's going to pay off. Let's look at your current energy, Scorpio. Well, I want to know what this is about. Nothing will come of this situation. Luck is on your side and communication is key. The nothing will come of this situation to me is never like, oh, this is leading nowhere. Because I think that card can be can be interpreted in a way that's negative. I actually feel the nothing will come of this situation is very much an indication of this reminder that nothing is created unless we create it. And what I mean by that is, and one of the things that I've always said about tarot is I do not use it as like a fortune teller kind of thing. It's not about telling you what is going to happen or what's not going to happen, because you are the creator of your life. You get to determine for yourself what limits are going to be placed on your life and how much you're going to believe those limits. Now, it's not as simple as just, oh, I'm going to believe that anything's possible and it's just going to appear. But if you're willing to stick to a path of creating the thing that you desire, if you're willing to not give up, if you're willing to learn, grow, and evolve from mistakes and dead ends and obstacles and challenges, you are going to get where you're trying to go. And I think that it's not as simple as don't give up, because sometimes it's exhausting and it's overwhelming. And like I said, the doubt and the fear is there. But if you are willing to continue to show up for the life that you desire, you will create it. That's why I feel like you have the luck is on your side card. Your hard work is not going in vain. The energy and the intention that you're putting in is going to pay off. And I feel like that's about really believing in that and honestly, ultimately believing in your power as a co-creator. So I feel like this is a really kind of pep talk kind of reading for some Scorpio out there on a pretty difficult path. But definitely a don't give up, keep moving forward, you're closer than you think kind of energy. All right, what does Scorpio need to know moving forward? And we'll dive into what all of this is talking about with tarot, because I'm a little bit curious, because it's usually not as simple as that, right? It's never as black and white. The answers you need are coming. Confidence is your key to success. I knew it. I knew we were going to see this kind of energy. One of the most amazing things about being a human is that we always have a choice, right? We have a choice in what we're going to do, how we're going to respond. And a lot of times life can make us feel really powerless because, there are things out of our control or we don't see a way through, whatever the case is. In that moment, you still do have a choice. And I think that as you're moving forward, it's about paying attention to where your power lies and understanding that the success that you desire in whatever form, the love that you want, the financial freedom that you want, that is imminent. It already exists. Abundance is a frequency. Love is a frequency. All of these things already exist in your world. So it's not about the question of, can I have this, can I not? It's the question of, what do I need to do to align with it the most? How do I need to shift my thoughts? How do I need to shift my beliefs? How do I need to shift my actions to align further with the things that I desire, while also, and this is the key here, simultaneously releasing the outcome and trusting that if things don't pan out exactly like you expect, it doesn't mean they're not working out. It means they're working out in a way that's a little bit different. So you're on a pretty intense journey, but really exciting one right now. And I think that your future does hold a lot of clarity, but it also is about your confidence. Your confidence is probably the most important key factor. And again, confidence, just like anything else, it is not a feeling. It's not about feeling good all the time. It's about showing up. It's about the as if, showing up as if things are working out, taking steps as if success is imminent, because that's how you create it, is you show up for it before it even appears. Overall theme of this reading for Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know as they're moving forward? Transmute. Affluence, which is a lot about, that's abundance right there, right? Fear and self-doubt and all the things that you're experiencing, all the things that I kind of talked about in the beginning of this reading, those things never really go away. When I first started on the path of creating the life that I desire, both in my business and in my marriage, I was actually kind of shocked to realize that even as you start to achieve some of the things that you desire, and you start to see that manifestation works, and you start to see that you are a co-creator, and all of these things start to be, kind of proven to you, if you will, that fear, it doesn't just disappear. In fact, a lot of times it gets louder. It gets a little bit more intense. It gets a little bit more believable. And the whole journey, from where you're at now to where you want to be in the future, and then where you're going to be then to where you want to be moving forward, is about not allowing that fear and that self-doubt and the insecurity and all of the reasons why you don't think you can get there and you're not enough and it's not possible and you're not supported, not letting those things dictate what's possible for you. And it's easier said than done, right? But it's seriously, I cannot make it more literal than that. The only thing standing between you and the life that you desire, the love that you desire, and I'm not talking about a specific person, I'm talking about experiencing the love that you desire. The only thing standing between you and that outcome that you desire is the fear that you can't have it. And it sounds so simple, right? It is in theory, but in actual practice, it's not as simple, because it's about understanding that you're a human being and your actions and your beliefs are going to be very tailored to your mind. And mind is where the fear lives. And the fear is going to be the most survival-driven thing that you have. And since you're a human, you're driven to survive, right? So understanding that the life that you desire is on the other side of fear is not about saying, oh, it's easy. Just do it. It's easy. It's about recognizing that it isn't easy, but it is possible, and to not give up on the path just because things get hard and challenging or have been hard and challenging. And again, easier said than done, but I do feel like there's someone on some journey that really needs to know that the fear that you can't have the thing that you desire is the biggest thing holding you back. So let's dive into this more here. Scorpio, let's look at this past energy. You're very close to achieving your goal. You and your loved ones are safe. What has Scorpio been dealing with? Ooh. Nine of Wands in reverse. Six of Swords in reverse. This is this repetition, this pattern of feeling very stuck. Eight of Cups. This to me is an indication that you are in the middle of a journey. You've embarked on this journey. You've been on this journey for a while. And then there's the Queen of Swords in reverse with the Devil. Okay. So you've been on this journey for a while. I feel like you've been waiting for things to change, waiting for things to get better, waiting for that breakthrough to come, that outcome to happen. And it just feels like it's not. And I know from experience how frustrating that can be when it just feels like things are not working out no matter how hard you try. Especially when you're talking about money or you're talking about relationships or whatever. But sometimes our attachment to the thing that we desire is actually the very thing that is blocking the thing that we desire. An attachment it comes in many different forms. It's an attachment of the who, the what, the when, the where, the how. It's basically saying if it doesn't look like this, then it's not what I desire, or it's not going to fit the bill of what it is that I desire. And sometimes when we get really stuck in our head of it has to look this way and it has to happen by this time, that fear that drives that actually blocks the inspiration or the direction or the actions that we're needing to take. And I feel like that's been happening. I feel like there is an attachment to some specific outcome that's keeping you from that very outcome. Now, it might not be like it's like an attachment to an ex coming back might actually be blocking the love that you desire, or an attachment to a career working out a certain way might be blocking you from the abundance you desire. Like, I feel like there is in some way this understanding that what it is that we desire can always happen for us. It just might not happen exactly like we have in mind. And I think that that's one of the things that this reading is trying to bring forth for you, is that this attachment to the outcome is actually very much keeping you stuck, or an attachment to a specific outcome is very much keeping you stuck. So with that being said, let's shift gears here. Current energy, luck is on your side. Nothing will come of this situation. I'm starting to see this nothing will come of this situation makes me think that you're looking for the outcome that you desire on a path or in a situation which it doesn't exist. So it's like the love that you desire, you're looking for in this person, or like in an ex coming back, and it's like you're not going to find it there because it doesn't exist there, but there's something better. And that's my favorite affirmation. It's this or something better. Either things work out like they're supposed to, or like you want them to, or something better is going to happen and they're going to work out like they're supposed to. So I feel like at the end of the day, you need to know that things are working out in your favor, even if they're not happening like you expect. But having these expectations and placing them so much on like a specific outcome is keeping you in this chasing energy, and this chasing energy is actually pushing away what it is that you desire. Current energy for Scorpio. Yeah, Four of Cups. This is always about redirecting your focus. There's the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. Right now you're sitting very much in a lack mentality. And it happens, okay? It's nothing to be ashamed of. We all slip into a lack mentality sometimes, but this lack mentality is blocking, it's lowering your vibration, first of all, and blocking the answers and the solutions that you need. I talked about how energy is a frequency, right? or excuse me, how abundant energy is a frequency, yes, but how abundance is a frequency, love is a frequency, all of these things, they already exist, right? And how your job is to align with it as best as you can. If you're in a lack mentality and you're focusing on, if I don't have this thing, then I'm not where I want to be, well, you're consistently going to be settling at a lower frequency, right? Because you're basically saying, if it doesn't work out like this, then I'm not happy. Or if it doesn't work out like that, then I'm not going to have what I need. And the universe responds not to what you desire, but to the frequency that you carry. And so if you're trying to attract more into your life, you have to focus on what it is that you do currently have and how it's working in your favor. And what I mean by that is, if you're wanting a new job, focus on what you currently have. Focus on the job that you have. If you want the relationship that you desire, focus on the love that you have in your life. And I'm not talking about romantic love. The things that we desire, if we are always looking at how we're unhappy unless we have those things, then we're going to consistently be telling the universe, I'm unhappy, I'm unhappy, I'm unhappy. And the universe is going to go, okay, you're unhappy, you're unhappy, you're unhappy. But if we're sitting in this energy of I'm grateful and, grateful for what I have, grateful for the abundance of my life and excited about where I'm going, the universe is like, oh, you're grateful? Here's more to be grateful for. Here's more to be excited about. Now, it's really hard when you've been struggling for a really long time. I know it. And I know that mindset and toxic, I'm not talking about toxic positivity. But mindset is a lot, but it's not necessarily everything. There's a lot more that comes with it, because toxic positivity is ignoring, your current experience and saying, I'm happy regardless of what is. You don't have to lie to yourself and be like, oh, I'm happy with how things are. You can still want and desire things in your life, but right now you flipped a little bit too much to that lack mentality, and that lack mentality is keeping you in that chasing energy. Because if you don't feel like you have what you need, you're going to chase certain outcomes, and that fear that you're chasing with is actually going to push it away. So I feel like there's a need to do a little bit of mindset work, adopting more of an abundance mentality. And it's not, just affirmations. It's not just that, but it's also allowing yourself to feel the frustration and the anger, but also understand that that's not where it ends. You can be frustrated. You can be upset that things aren't working out the way that you expect, but you can have this. And my husband calls it the bubblegum mentality. He works with kids, so this is how he presents it to them. But the bubblegum mentality is basically saying, instead of saying nothing is working out for me and I don't have what I need, and playing into that mentality and giving so much energy and emotion to it, you can say, things aren't working out like I thought. I don't really have what I need right now yet. Or I don't have what I need right now, but I know that I'm being guided toward it. And just that little switch in mentality can open up your mind and your energy so much, because sometimes we limit ourselves to experiencing what we're continuing to experiencing and staying stuck in the same, because we're in this mentality of I'm unhappy and I'm ungrateful and I'm hurting and I want more. Not a bad thing to want more, but also giving energy to the things that are working in your life can be really important, because what that does is that also opens up your heart to say, okay, maybe things aren't as bad as I think. For me, I used to have such a bad mentality. I used to be so ungrateful. I used to be so negative. I used to be like, expect the worst and you'll never be disappointed. And that bit me in the butt time and time again. I would experience so much lack and so much struggle in my life. And I think that for you, Scorpio, I understand what it's like to feel like real beaten down by life, to be like, no, but literally nothing's working out for me. I know what it's like to feel that way. But I've watched gratitude and focusing on abundance that I do have. I've watched it transform my life. So I feel like right now there's kind of two parts to this reading. It's, you're on the right path, but you have to let go of the outcome. And to trust that even if things don't work out exactly like you planned, that things are going to work out better. And to focus on what you do have. Focus on the gratitude in your life. Focus on the things that are going well. That's how you attract. That's how luck is on your side, right? That's how you attract it. What does Scorpio need to know moving forward? Confidence is your key to success. Because if you believe success is imminent, instead of being like, oh, is it possible as it's not, you're going to be more committed to finding the way. But that also comes with an open heart and an open mind. This future energy is very busy. There's a lot of busy energy in it. You have the Eight of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups. This is very much the energy of getting things done. This feels like new opportunities, new aligned opportunities too. Different than what you expect, but I feel like they're very, they're exciting. Yeah, because then you have this Fool energy too. I think that a lot of what I talk about on this channel is, you know, focusing on where your power is, focusing on what you can control. And when we're in an energy of feeling really powerless and out of control, the number one thing that we can control is our mindset, our belief system, and our actions, right? So this to me is a reading of Spirit saying everything is working out better than you think. But the more that you dip into giving so much energy to what's out of your control, the more that you are sending off these signals of lack and frustration, and all of those things are going to attract more. And I'm not saying it's your fault, okay? But we do have more power than we think. But it's not over what happens to us, and it's not over when things happen to us, and it's not over rushing the universe, but it's over doing our part. And our part is always figuring out how we can get more into alignment with our words, with our belief systems, you know, really doing that work, doing the shadow work to bring to the light these ways in which we hold ourselves back without even realizing it. So I think that you're moving through some pretty complicated energy, and I'm not sitting here saying that anything that I'm talking about is easy, but even me, like there are plenty of times on my journey where I'm starting to get frustrated and I'm starting to feel lack, and I'm starting to feel like nothing that I do is enough. And I sit there and I go, okay, Gabby, how much have you meditated recently? Like, are you doing a gratitude journal? You know, how much are you speaking lack into existence versus, you know, making sure that you're focusing on the good? And when I check myself, things immediately shift. And it's not that my experiences shift or my reality shifts overnight, but I start to shift. I feel this shift in energy. I feel this shift in my vibration. And then I know, okay, now I'm aligning a little bit more with abundance, and then things start to flow a little bit easier. So none of this stuff, I mean, I think a lot of the times we talk about energy and frequency and abundance mindset and all of this, and it's like, yeah, I know. But I don't think we realize how much of a challenge it is to stay in those spaces whenever we are struggling and when we are the most frustrated. And it doesn't mean that you should be doing it, you know, you should be 100% in an abundance mentality all the time. That's not realistic. You're a human. It's not about, you know, never falling off or always being perfect. It's about coming back to the basics, coming back to what you can control, especially in the midst of struggle. So I do feel that you are making more progress than you think. I think that the shifts that you're looking for outside of you, they have to start within. So some of those things that we talked about can really help. You are closer than you think, though, Scorpio, to where you want to go. But I also feel like letting go of exactly what that looks like and how that happens is really important too. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into this, looking at what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. And then I've got an advice card to pull from your spiritual team at the very end. Before I end this video, I do want to remind you all that I'm hosting a financial freedom workshop on September 19th, Friday, September 19th. The full title of this workshop is Manifesting Financial Freedom, Transform Your Relationship with Money. I used to be a financial advisor in my past life before my spiritual awakening. And now I still help people with their finances, but in a very different capacity, obviously from more of a spiritual alignment space. So this workshop I'm really excited about because it's a kind of a combination of the both of the knowledge that I had when I was a financial advisor and the knowledge that I have as a spiritual coach now. Like I said, I'm really excited about this. This one's been a long time coming. Any information for it is at the very top of the description box below. It is a live event. However, if you cannot make it live and you wish to still be a part of it, purchase a ticket and you will receive a recording and all of the information and materials the next day. So with that being said, thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Scorpio.